What is the difference in a small group of athletes forming a unity group? This is a group of athletes who are saying they want something versus a very large group of athletes over here who are saying they want something. And in this case, they are saying they want to play. Out walking here to start the week early Monday morning and listening to WJOX in Birmingham, listening to Little Bo Bounds on our station in Jackson. It's interesting, guys that are really good at what they do, been doing it for a long time, and they at times have seemed a little shell-shocked this morning at having to do a show with the possibility that there may not be a college football season.
Take the bull by the horns.
I'm listening to the other show. Got to get everything put on here. Some sound we're going to use. Had to get reset up after being outside of the studio on Friday. So I'm late. I got 14 minutes before we go on the air, and I still have a lot to do, hustling. But I'm not worried because plenty to talk about today. So they're doing a good job, but I think at times seem just a little bit, knocked back by the news that is a legit possibility, which is interesting because we could all see it coming from a long way. Just like Gator Greg, he calls me Mr. Wyatt. He says, Mr. Wyatt, you have not played Coming to America. Please play. Well, you asked for it. You got it. Toyota. Turn it down. I'm about to blow the speakers out. Everybody take a breath. Oh, I love it. That gets the old heart beating right there. What's up, Larry? Thanks for calling.
Man, I think the Alcorn State version is better. I'm just putting that out there.
Are you sure you want to be on record with that? Are you sure about that now?
Oh, why not?
So things start changing. You go through a lot of different stuff. You start, naturally you wonder, what's the future going to be like? And I tell you, I think because of my faith, my belief in God, my faith grounded in God's sovereignty, and the fact that Jesus died for me and I have salvation because of that. As I get older, I am learning to lean on that faith more and more and worry less and less and be anxious less and less. But there's this giant curiosity now about what if this happened, what if that happens, how do I adjust, how do I adapt? Because that's really what it's all about, is adapting to what's changing around you.
I was in the Marine Corps. I was in the back of an Amtrak with an M16 fixing to hit a beach,
Mm-hmm.
And they treat these college guys like they're 10-year-olds playing youth city league football. They're grown men. They can make their own decisions if they want to play or not. Treating them with, you got to have a waiver. You can't have a waiver. That is the most serious thing I've ever heard in my life. They sit you down and say, look, if you want to play, great, play. If you don't want to play, don't play. You still have your scholarship. I mean, what kind of liability is that? That's a grown man making a decision for himself.
If you can eliminate the worry and the anxiousness, then the figuring out the adaptation part of it is not that bad, and it actually can be fun if you have the right attitude about it. At least that's what I find in my experience. And even if you sign a waiver before you go to, some ride or whatever, he said most people in the legal community know this. Those waivers aren't worth the pen and ink and paper you wrote it on. And that really stuck with me, thinking, man, on the surface, things seem one way, but there are a lot of people in the legal profession that if they can get it into a courtroom or get it into negotiations, they see it a totally different way. I just can't help but think about seniors. The senior who he's a second string, third string. The seniors in the MAC and in the Big Ten who walked on, who are not going to be drafted, are not going to play in the NFL. this is it. That's it. It's over. No more football for them. No more putting on a uniform.
And now, yes, the group here that is over here getting together saying we want to play, that is a very large group, a majority. And yes, this group over here is a unity group. We're making some demands. We want, health assurances. We want some money. We want some revenue. That's a very small group that's unifying on that. But throw out the size of the groups. What is the difference? Okay, I'll tell you one thing I noticed. There may be other differences, but this is one thing I notice. There is a huge difference in who gets behind one group and pushes them and encourages them and writes about them and tweets about them and supports them versus those people getting behind this group who wants to play and pushing them and encouraging them and supporting them and writing about them. There is a massive difference there. Why? Why? The point I'm making is this. You can't have it both ways. If you want the athletes themselves to have the biggest voice in the room on one issue, then you must accept that they have the biggest voice in the room on the other issues also. And you mushy-headed media need to understand that.
I got to finish my career, and I can tell you it was an awful feeling. Even though we won the last game I ever was a part of in college, it was an awful feeling to take those pads off, take that uniform off for the last time, and get on the bus and drive away knowing you're never going to put it on again. I can't imagine what those guys are feeling, what you seniors are feeling right now in some places. Hang in there. Tough it out as best you can. Life is not all about football. I just hate that you've had that taken from you. And I don't know who you blame. I don't know if you blame anybody, but I can't imagine what you're going through. Now, what possesses somebody to throw stuff out of their car? Honestly, just throw it right out the window. Makes no sense whatever. I cannot understand people who do that. Really interesting and busy radio show today. Plenty to talk about, especially in terms of who's going to cancel football and who's not. But it really took off fast today on this Monday.